Welcome to this presentation, where I will be discussing the frightfully, dreadfully, awfully, disgustingly exciting topic of the periodic table. A topic which I find personally pleasing. Anyway, without further reminiscence of my chemistry fantasies, let us proceed with the presentation. To keep track of the elements, we use the tremendously amazing, fabulous periodic table to show us all of the elements. We can quickly find out basic information about every element by finding its symbol on the periodic table. I've stared for many hours at my neighbour's can and marvelled at its bountiful wealth of information that it has given me. When looking at the individual box that each element is contained in, you will notice various different numbers and a letter or two. The letter in this example is C, so this tells us that the element is carbon. The atomic number is always the smaller number, which tells us the number of protons in the atom's nucleus. The larger number represents the atomic mass of the atom's most common isotope. An isotope is a different form of the same element that contains an equal number of protons but different numbers of neutrons in their nuclei, and hence different relative atomic mass but non-chemical properties. The atomic mass is the sum of protons and neutrons. Did I mention that I was a huge fan of Britney Spears? The way that we can tell the properties of the elements is by looking at their grouping period. Elements in the same row are in the same period. This means they have similar physical properties, such as how well they conduct electricity. The elements in a column are called groups. This means they react with other elements in similar ways. Newlands was the first person to develop a periodic table which arranged elements in order of their relative atomic weights. He published in 1865 his law of octaves, which specified that any given element will exhibit analogous behaviour to the eighth element following it in the table. At the time, his law of octaves was ridiculed by his colleagues as some of the elements with different properties were put in the same group. We now know that we should order elements by their atomic number and not their atomic mass. Yet we should give praise to John Newlands as he was close to getting it right. Not even 500 words were dedicated to him on Wikipedia, but they managed to write pages and pages about Michael Jackson. Newlands' idea was sold by a vodka-drinking, bearded commie. Dmitri Mendeleev had a similar idea but got it right. He formulated the periodic law, created his own version of the periodic table of elements and used it to correct the properties of some already discovered elements, and also to predict the properties of 8 elements yet to be discovered. After becoming a teacher, Mendeleev wrote the definitive textbook of his time, Principles of Chemistry. He claimed to have imagined the complete arrangement of the elements in a dream.
I saw in a dream a table where all elements fell into place as required. Awakening, I immediately wrote it down on a piece of paper, only in one place, till the correction later seemed necessary.
He noticed that sometimes the method of sequencing the elements in order of their atomic mass did not work. So when an element was in the wrong group, he swapped it with an element with a similar atomic mass and more appropriate properties. His periodic table now forms the basic principles of the modern periodic table. Well, that's it, folks. We hope you enjoyed. I have a deep and personal love for chemistry, and I think that Marie Curie was hot. Mendeleev got an element named after him, and Microsoft Word knows how to spell his name, which made writing this essay a lot easier, whilst Newlands got nothing. Thank you for listening to this amazing thing.